What's going on, guys? Tyler, your wandering therapist here. I'm just out on a morning run with my dog as usual, and just kind of thinking about the difference between what the weather looks like today versus what it looked like 2 days ago, which was Easter Sunday, and how that's sort of a metaphor for our lives a little bit. And just wanted to share a few thoughts with you that are on my mind this morning about change and the power of change, the blessing of change, even when we don't really want it to be what it is. 2 days ago and yesterday, it was in the 70s. On Easter Sunday, it was pure sunlight with 70s weather, just perfectly fitting for the holiday of Easter, with this idea of renewal and growth and birth and redemption. And then I come out 2 days later and we're back into springtime in Utah, which ends up looking like this, which is in its own way a beautiful snowstorm, but it's not necessarily something I'm happy about. I'd prefer to have springtime come and the warmth to come. I like the sunlight, and I struggle with depression a little bit, and I'd rather have the sunlight than the bad weather. But as I was walking through the snow today, kind of begrudging it and thinking that it should be warmer, I started to think about the situation that our state is in right now in Utah. We're in a drought where we're only at 60% of the water level that we need for the year. And this snowstorm is actually a massive blessing to me and to the state that I live in, to be able to get a little bit more snow up in the mountains to help with that snowpack that's going to carry us through the summertime. And even though I'm not happy about it in the moment right now, I should be finding ways to be grateful for it, because it's going to actually produce for me some opportunities that otherwise wouldn't be there, in the form of fresh water without having to be on restrictions for as long in the summertime. And I wonder if that's true for some of us with other things in our lives, where we're experiencing some change that may not necessarily be welcome. Maybe it's a change in your job or work situation, or maybe it's a change in your family situation, a loss of a loved one, or maybe you're going through a hard time, even a divorce or something. And we often get stuck in the negatives of what that change is doing to us, when in reality, those negatives might be there, but there's probably a lot of other positives that can come with opportunities. And a simple truth is that we can't necessarily control things from changing. We live in a world, we have a life that was designed to be changing. And so if we can learn to embrace that change, it allows us to grow into our lives. It allows us to see things as experience that let us become better people, instead of just begrudging it and suffering for no reason. If we can embrace that life is full of change, that it was designed to be that way, and that change is one of the catalysts, one of the ways that we get opportunity for growth, then we can see it in a different light, and we can instantly suffer less, and we can also gain more from it. My little brother is really good at this. When change happens to him, he always turns around and says, well, we've got to find the opportunity in this. There's always an opportunity when things are unstable, when things are changing, when the ground's shifting under my feet. And I'm trying to learn from him that way, because it's been difficult for me with that principle and that concept. I'm going through some change right now in my own business, and I stepped away from the company that I was working with just a few months ago. It was an amicable thing. It was a good thing for both of us, I think. They were looking to make some changes, and I was looking to go in a different direction. Nevertheless, it was difficult. I had a hard time with some fears, wondering if the change that I was making to go back into private practice and go full-time into Love Strong was going to be something that paid off for me and my family. I was worried about being able to provide for their needs. I was worried about whether or not I was going to be able to keep a full caseload in my business and my practice. And in that transition over the last few months, there's been some difficult times, some uncertainty, some learning the hard way with some of the transitions that we're making, some lessons being learned through mistakes instead of through seeing other people or having things come easy. But in the last few months, I've also felt much more alive. I've felt much more passion. I've felt much more directed by God. And I'm starting to see the benefits of the change that is happening too, in the sense that I have more opportunities to engage with my clients in a different way, to build the projects that I feel directed by God to build, in terms of some of these videos and some of our other offerings with our courses. I have more time to put into those things, and more energy to put into those things, and truly more heart to put into those things, even though in some ways it's much more difficult. And so I'm grateful for that change, even though I haven't fully wanted to embrace it at times because of the difficulty of it. Hard is not bad. change is not bad. Difficulty is not bad. It's simply necessary as a part of our lives. And I just challenge you guys to think about that in your own life. Are there changes happening right now in your life that don't seem fair, that might be miserable in some ways, that might be really, really difficult? If you are, welcome to life. You're going to get through it. It's going to be okay. And the only difference between added suffering and growth is simply the way you choose to look at it and see it. Can you see the opportunities in that change? Can you allow your heart to willingly embrace those changes because they're happening whether you want to or not? And hopefully that helps you guys today. Hope you have an awesome day. We'll talk to you later.